All of the objects that we are going to be creating in Access have multiple ways to work with them. These are called views, and you can switch between the available views using the first button here on the Home tab. Here, Views. Let me open up the Customers table to activate it. The Views button has two parts. The upper half will toggle between two default states. In the case of tables, that'll switch between Datasheet View, like we have now, and Design View. Here. I'll press it again to toggle back. The bottom half of the button will expand to show additional views if available for the object that you're working with. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our table in Design View. I'll switch to Design View, and we'll see all of the fields in our table are listed down in a column instead of across the top. We can also see their data types listed in the next column here. You'll see that all of our fields in our customer table are short text data types, except for the ID field, which is an auto number. This third column is where we can put in a description of the type of data that goes here. This is a great place to store any notes or reminders about each field and can be a very useful reference when you come back to edit your tables later. For instance, for our state, I'm going to enter the description 2-letter state abbreviation. We can also add or modify fields that make up our table here in Design View. In some respects, it's actually easier to create a table in Design View than it is in Datasheet View like we did earlier. If I want to add an email field before phone number, I'll simply click on the phone number field, go up here to the ribbon, and press Insert Rows. That'll insert a new blank row above the phone, or I could type in the field, email. I'll press Tab to select my data type. Again, I've got a drop-down list just like in Datasheet View, and for this I'll choose Short Text. Finally, for the description for this field, I'll enter Customer's Primary Contact Email. Now we can switch our view to Datasheet View to see how that looks. Back on the Design tab, I'll press this View button. Access is going to tell us we need to save the table first. So since we made structural changes, I'll save that change there. And now it takes me back to Datasheet View, where we see our new email field here right before phone. Let's go ahead and go back into Design View. I'll go back, toggle it there, and now we're back in Design View. The gray selection boxes to the left of each field are handles, and we can use those to rearrange the fields. So if I want to move our email to the end, I'll simply click on that gray box and then click and drag to rearrange, and I'll drag it to the bottom. Notice that we can also quickly identify the primary key field in this table. It has the yellow key icon that we saw in the relationships map. This is good information to know, and is something that's not readily apparent when looking at the table in Datasheet View. If you don't have a primary key established for your table, there's a button here on the ribbon to turn it on. So you just click on the field, and then click on Primary Key to add that to that field. We're going to take a look at the Design View a little bit more in depth in the next few movies, including the bottom half of the screen, which deals with additional properties for each field. Now, because changing our view is a very common task throughout Access, there are a bunch of additional ways to do that. From the navigation pane, you can right-click a table or any object and choose to open them straight into Design View. The same applies to the Object's Name tab. If it's already open, you can right-click and change your view here as well. You can switch it to Datasheet View, for example. Again, Access is going to ask me to save changes, so I will. And now I'm back in Datasheet View. Also, if the object is open, on the first contextual tab for that object, in this case, under the Table Tools group, this Fields tab, we'll find a View button here. And there's also additional little icons down on the bottom right corner of your screen over here to change your views there as well. So we have lots of options to toggle our views back and forth between the working views and the design views.